What is up, guys? Genuvic here, getting in here with some City Skylines today. It's something new to the channel, haven't played it before, but it is a game that I have sank many numerous hours into. Um, I kind of play in my own style. I have played it with money on. Today I'm playing it with money and achievements off, just so I can get in here and, kind of build freely without having to worry about, constraints and whatnot. Um, so here we are in Oliverwood, city I just loaded up, brand new, right out of the lot. Nothing done to it yet. I chose this map because it looked mostly flat. I am terrible at terraforming, so that goes well with me. Looks like we have a nice little freeway connection interchange here to start. Usually it just kind of comes off as like this one piece, and you just kind of get like one freeway entrance. So I kind of like that they did that as opposed to just kind of dumping it off on you. I don't think I've played on this map before particularly. I think this is one. This one is kind of new. I think it came with one of the DLC I have. I only have like 2 or 3. I know I have Mass Transit, After Dark, and Universities. I think that's it. As well, we're going to be playing with Traffic Manager. Just got Traffic Manager 11, so quite excited about that as well. To play with some of the new features. But one of the main things that I like to do when I start, right off the bat, is I kind of like to take a look around at the freeway connections. So as you can see, there's this one that kind of runs along the side up here. Then there's this one that runs along up there, but we probably won't be reaching that one quite yet. And then there's something down there. It looks like some kind of rail yard or something. I can't quite see all the way yet. But we're going to start right here because this looks like a good area for kind of like a downtowny, like, city center type area. And it looks like it's quite literally the center of the map, so that bodes even better for us to build a city center right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by renaming this, and theoretically we're going to say that this is north, just so that we have some point of reference. So if that's north, then this is west, and we're just going to name this something like I-26, because odd numbered highways go east and west, even numbered highways go east, and odd numbered highways go north and south. So we're going to name this like I-26, that'll be west. We're going to name this one I-26 east. And then we're going to go over here, and I don't know what I want to do with these yet, so I think we're just going to leave that like that. And what I'm actually going to do here is go buy some land so I can have a better look at what's going on here. I'm going to go this way, try and get some of this freeway in there. And let's go this way so we have some of this land over here as well to play with. And that should be okay for now. Probably going to expand a lot more, just because I like to be able to see what's kind of going on the map and what I'm doing and stuff. So, with that said, I'm thinking we're going to expand this highway and connect it up here. I have a tendency to do stuff like that, don't ask why, but it looks like this is kind of a mountainous terrain, so I'm thinking maybe go around that way and hook it in up here. So in order to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of this, and just like maybe there. Then I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go into Interchanges. Now nothing really goes that way quite yet, and that looks like pretty mountainous terrain, so it looks like something I'd probably avoid more often than not. So let's go ahead and just slope too steep. I think you can get over it. Kind of line this up as best I can here so it doesn't look super jank, and then plop it in like that. Now these are both 3 lanes, so we can probably just grab a 3-lane and plug it in like that. Doesn't look exactly the best, but we'll probably come back to this later on anyway, and build something else on it. But so this is more like just for now, it works. Go ahead and do the same to this other side. This one is going to look a little bit smoother. And just like that, we now have this opened up. So now what we can do is we can go into here, and we can get our parallel road tool. If you don't have this, you can get that on the Steam Workshop as well. Pretty nifty little tool. We're just going to do same as selected, and then we're going to up this to, I want to say 30. I know that's wrong. I know it's wrong. No, it's right. Wow. Okay. So we're just going to drag this like that. I'm terrible with terraforming, so I'm not even going to act like that's a thing. Go over the bridge here. Thinking maybe just straight across even. And then we can start turning like that. Yes, it looks very nice. And then we can hook this right into there. Now, of course, it's not going to connect on this side for some stupid reason. And also, I didn't click right here, which toggles the reverse version for this side. So this is going the same direction as the other side, so we also need to fix that. So what I'm going to do is deselect the parallel road tool, because that always messes me up. I'm going to delete both sides here, grab a 3-lane highway, and fix that up real quick. Just like that. Alright, I still have to change the direction on this. And of course it wants to do this to me. Alright, now we can change up the direction just like that. Alright, and there you have it. Everything's fixed up. We have a nice little freeway connection going from over here to up there. And that makes that freeway just a little bit more useful. And now I'm thinking we're going to do something similar with this highway, except have it come down here and be like kind of like the entryway into this area over here when we get it. Because again, this is the city center. So we do want to have as many connections as we can, kind of coming from this area, if that makes sense, so that it, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but that's okay. In my mind, it does. So this time we're going to remember to toggle the reverse direction, so we don't have to go through that mess again. And now we're just going to go ahead and I think it'd be best if we maybe did something kind of like this, where we turn it. And then, sure, that looks nice. And then it'll kind of come off the end here. And we're going to make sure that we don't have it on ground mode, so that it can actually build us a bridge here. And that bridge is going to go straight across like that. That looks nice. And then onward and inward and off into the land you go. We can get rid of those rocks. Good. Now we have some solid connections to our city center, coming from other parts of the city, and that will come in handy for when we start expanding outside of the city center, of course. Why does it always do this to me? Alright, now let's take a look here. We have a lot of usable space kind of off to the left here, if you see that big chunk, and then there's kind of like this, nice shoreline-y kind of stuff going on here. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have more of the commercial stuff on the east side, and then maybe even going into the south here. This little, I don't know what you want to call it, that little sticky out part, and then in this main chunk here we can have some kind of residential high density residential. I can't speak today. And I think that would suit us kind of well. So what I want to do now is form Main Street. Now, this is what I do kind of first thing whenever I'm starting to make a city is I always like to make Main Street, and that will kind of come into the grid form that I like to do. So we're going to go like that. Close enough. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that way it forms us a nice bridge. Make sure it goes across. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Get it like there. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do with that. But for now, let's go ahead and get this connected to the freeway. So we're going to get our ramp tool. Go ahead and get it curved. And I'm thinking if we can, yeah, that looks nice. And that looks nice. There we go. I'm thinking this should do us some justice here. That might look a little bit jank. Nope, that looks nice. Okay. So now I want to name this freeway real quick, just for the sake of my own sanity. So I think this is going to be a local highway. Interstates are, you know, in my opinion, a little bit more powerful. This could honestly be a state highway as well, but I kind of like that interstate feeling in the you know, heart of downtown. So I think we're going to leave that as an interstate and make this a local highway, a state highway. Now this one, even though it does tend to go, you know, east and west kind of through here, it mostly does go north and south. So we're going to call it north-south. I like the number 7 when it comes to highways, so I'm thinking 277. And of course this is going to be southbound lanes. And then on the other side we're going to do the same thing going the other way, except Washington 277 north. And this right here, this is going to be our grid for the south east. So we're just going to call this southeast Main Street. And all this stuff I'm doing will make sense to you later. But it's just the way that I like to name the streets. Give it a little bit more realism. And now we can start planning out our city a little bit. Of course, this area is going to become more developed with time. You don't really want to rush into a large scale kind of downtowny area like this all at once. I want to have time to kind of effectively procure where I want to put some specific buildings such as the courthouse and city hall and things like that. And I think those are kind of going to be sprinkled along this side, maybe even down here we can set up some kind of spot for that. We'll see how things turn out. But for now, we're going to start by just making an avenue. I think that would do us pretty well. So what I want to do is make an avenue right here. And we'll go to like there. And I just chose this road because it looks nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go over the freeway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. We'll just go down to there with it. And that will continue our grid over the freeway on that side. See what I mean later on. Connect this to there. And here we're going to do it off the bridge. And kind of do the same thing other way. There we go. Not perfect, but it looks quite nice in my opinion. So now we're going to name this avenue. I'm thinking that this one's not going to be a numbered one just because I want the numbers to go all the way over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this Southeast. We'll just call it Clark Avenue. That sounds quite nice. Clark with an E, of course. There's no other way to do it. And now that we have an avenue going through here, we're able to get some streets in. So I'm thinking to start in this area, we can start coming over here. So what I want to do is I want to go into here and I want to grab, where is it? Right, they moved that over here for some reason. I want to grab this 3-lane one-way road, and I want to grab it somewhere in the middle-ish here. And actually, no, that's not what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is we're going to call this First Street. And then we're going to make another street a little bit further down. That's okay. Get it lined up. And you know what? We'll do something like this. It goes over the bridge that's not, or over the freeway, sorry. It's not going to connect to the freeway, but we'll give these residents over here some kind of quick access into this commercial district that if they don't want to take, you know, kind of main roads. So that'll be quite nice, and then that one will also be a numbered street as well. So we're just going to call this, not quite yet. I do want to get another avenue in here at some point. But I'm not quite sure how I want that to look yet. What I think I'm going to do is definitely build an avenue from here that goes to there, but of course we need to extend this one a little bit more so that it lines up straight, and that will be a nice little avenue like that. That's looking very nice. That's not what I wanted. So we'll just pull this out real quick and delete this rock because it's really going to bug me. And there you have it. So we're going to call this, oop, didn't mean to do that. We're going to call this Southeast First Street. And we're going to go into this little thingy here, and we're going to back that up to here because I want this to be Southeast First Court Street. And instead of making this an avenue and then changing it to a street down here, what I'm actually just going to do is call this something like Southeast Creflo Way. And that way it just kind of has its own little place. It's kind of tucked in here, and you know, you're on Creflo Way. We're going to name this to Southeast 2nd Street like we discussed. And I think that looks quite nice. The only thing that I would change about this is I'm starting to think that maybe because these are pretty close together, maybe a roundabout in the future here. But we'll see how that gets. So with that said, we've gotten a foundation started. Let's go ahead and get some water in here. So if you look at the arrows, you see that the water is flowing this way. So we want our sewage treatment plants kind of down here so that they're out of the way. We'll just do 3 for now, and then we'll come up here with some water pumps, and we'll just do 3 of those. We'll go ahead and grab some pipes, connect those all up. Just run this along the shoreline here. We'll probably end up connecting to these later on. Go all the way up here to the sewage treatment plants, connect those up real quick. Getting notifications like crazy today. Come down here. That way we now have water on the island. And just continue all the way down here just so that we don't have to worry about that later on. Now me personally, I'm a big fan of running the pipe under the street. You know how I like my realism. So we'll just go ahead and put some of these under the streets here. Make sure everyone gets some water over here. And we'll go ahead and get some power in. I didn't quite consider this. However, this is an easy fix. What I'm going to do is, because we have a nice handy highway over here, which I'm going to promptly name an interstate here momentarily. I'm thinking we can have some kind of highway that splits off, and we can have our industrial area across the way. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, considering that the city center's right here, and that'll be the kind of like the commercial district. Hmm. Perhaps over here, actually, because that would make more sense anyway. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So, here, if possible, I want to get some kind of highway. I'm thinking, yeah, so let's go ahead and grab a 6-lane road with no decorations. And we're going to grab curve and kind of think about how I want to do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to start from up here and I'm going to build back just a little bit and then build a bridge over this. That one can go 3 high, I suppose. Setting it a little bit close. Actually, this one doesn't even need road anarchy on. Do without it, just because we can. Go ahead and drop it down here, and go like that. And this will kind of just be our to be continued kind of industrial area. But for now, what we can do is build a little road off of it. Right here. Should we go this way? I'm thinking we should go that way. And then what we can do is we can just get a nuclear power plant, and that will last us for quite a while. Of course, we do need to hook this up to the freeway so that people can actually get here. If that makes any sense. Okay, goes a little bit into the building, but it actually looks kind of legit. We're gonna get the curving tool, and I think we're just gonna have that go to there, so we don't have to worry about bridging it up. So with that said, we now have this area going on over here. We'll cram some more industrial and stuff like that later on. We're also gonna call this a highway, because I want this to be kind of like a main route through to up here sooner or later. So what I'm going to do is just rename this to SR. We'll say goes north and south, so like 207, because I like my 7s. And then we'll call it, whew, man, all these questions, all these decisions, I mean. We'll just call it South Maverick Highway, because Mavericks and stuff. So, as you can see, our freeway name did not continue. I was wondering if I just didn't name it and I was going crazy, but I was pretty sure I named it. So, we're just going to go ahead and drag those. Make sure everything's named up over here. And with that, I think we're going to conclude this episode. We got a pretty good foundation here. We got power, we got water, we got our grid starting to form up here, as well as some freeways going to different areas. I think this is going to look very, very cool when it's all done. Spending a lot of time thinking about a little bit of more of like intricate details and you know, kind of more of the numbering aspects and you know, the street layouts and stuff like that. Because when it's all done, it makes it a lot more worth it, in my opinion. You get to see, you know, a more realistic view into what a city would be, you know, with its street names and such. That, and it's quite fun to go through and name all the streets, and you know, when you get to drive around the city in first person and, you know, think about the streets and stuff. I think it's just quite fascinating, in my opinion. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. And if you're liking this series, make sure to give me a subscription as well, so you can follow it. But yeah, I think that's about all for this one, guys. Let me know what you think, and have a great one. Bye-bye.